Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Mets in the UK, your home for all things Mets in the UK. We are back for another weekly podcast, and this week I'm joined by Toria. Hey Toria, how's things?
Oh, good. Thank you, my darling. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm happy about yesterday and the day before.
And
So
the day
yeah,
before that.
and the day before that, yes. But you will see it is just me and Toria today because Tom is on his travels. He is representing. He is loving life in City Field at the moment. And Jo decided she was too scared to come on and be faced with the prospect of hosting. So she is not joining us this week, but I'm sure she'll be back with us very, very soon. Just a reminder, you can use the hashtag MITUK to get involved. We do have some questions coming up later. And you can find us on, let me see if I can remember, Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it this week, Threads, Blue Sky, all the socials. Just like I say, use the hashtag MITUK.
We get everywhere.
Speak for yourself. So we are going to start off, as we always do, with a roundup of the weekly news. And yeah, it started off with a loss of the series against the Red Sox 2-1, and that was despite winning game 3 with a Lindor home run. Any thoughts on that one, Tor?
It was beautiful, but I kind of, it wasn't a surprise. The Red Sox aren't really on it at the moment, but those are the banana skins that we expect. It happens.
Yeah. You can't win every game, every series. As long as you win more than you lose, it's a good job.
Which we are doing.
Yes. Then we went on to take on the Dodgers, which, if you listened to the media at the time, we had no chance whatsoever of winning, but we will go into that a bit later. And we actually won the series 2-1 with home runs from Beatty and Alonso. We did lose game 1, though, in the 13th inning after a rain delay.
I can't even.
That was brutal.
I can't even.
Yeah,
that was by
yeah.
far my low light of the week.
Yeah, same. It was just like in our little group chat at the end, we were just like, please, just someone do something so we can go to bed now.
Please. It was horrendous.
Because it was, I think, sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning at that point.
It was almost 6 o'clock by the time it finished.
Yeah,
it was almost
maybe I'm just glossing over it.
It was painful. It was really painful. It was. I did sleep for about 40 minutes or so in the middle. So suffered through the rain. Like, not thankfully. I had okay, under the circumstances, I had the Knicks game on my phone as well. So during the rain delay, I was able to kind of focus more on that. But and then it just went on and on. I was like, oh man, come on. Like, I'm prepared to go to like about 3:30. That's like fine. It's perfectly reasonable. I hate rain delays at the best of times. When it's on a late game, it's awful. And then for it to just go on and on and on, and I was just like, come on, I need sleep. I didn't fed the cat before I even got to bed. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then to lose as well. And it was so brutal. And the way that we lost, really, it was
the coming back to tie the game and then not.
It was really disappointing.
Yes.
Yeah, after we'd come back, because you know me,
to the last out.
So when we came back, I was like, right, this is ours. We've got this.
Yeah.
We had so many chances as well. That was the most frustrating thing. That's what made it so beautiful. Yeah. We had so many chances. We should have won that game. Yes, we came back into it. So, up until the 9th, we were losing. So anyone would have taken it at that point. But for us to have the bases loaded so many times and extras, just it was just painful. It was, like I said, it was the biggest low light of the week.
Yes, absolutely. But we did win the series,
We did.
which, if you listened to ESPN and Fox, they didn't expect us to do it because the sun shines out of Otani's rear end.
Of course it does.
It was like a constant countdown to Otani's next at bat, and yeah. Anyway, but we took the series 2-1, and then we came back to win game one against the White Sox, and it was a lovely UK friendly day game, which we adore, especially after 13 innings a few nights before.
Absolutely. I was still suffering from that. Yeah, I mean, last night was perhaps a little more uncomfortable than it ought to have been.
Yeah,
But it was good pitching. Not necessarily my other low light of the week, and it has been consistent throughout the season. And I'm getting bored of talking about it now. Freaking umpires again.
Ooh, don't
all,
even.
all week, and some of but it's getting silly now, where
Yes,
I feel like every single week, and I try not to. They're doing a job, and it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. I get all that, but some of the calls that they have missed or made this week
hmm
have been terrible, terrible. So yeah, I have my every week. I have my highlights and my lowlights, and umpires are on my low light list this week.
yeah,
So that played a part yesterday as well.
hmm
But that's nothing new, and you have to deal with it. And unfortunately, it wasn't even. He wasn't consistently bad. He's just bad for us.
yeah. I think there should. I I say this not knowing if there is, but there should be some kind of comeback for
Yeah,
bad umpiring. I
yeah. No,
mean,
they're too protected by the union. Is the problem?
yeah.
Has been the case.
Um, I know that Angel Hernandez was gotten rid of fairly recently, and that was a really positive mood
It was.
for the players, teams, because he was consistently poor, as has
Yes.
been proven by statistics. That's not me with some kind of vendetta against umpires. But the amount of calls that are being overturned on challenge,
Mhm. Yeah.
and the ones that aren't challengeable that are abysmal
Mhm.
and are called even by the opposing commentary staff saying, "What the hell is going on?" Yeah,
Yeah. It's really not cool. It's not cool.
no,
My highlights of the week, because there have been loads.
yeah,
Aside from, of course, being I think the Dodgers series win at our place,
mhm,
really big deal. I think that's
yeah,
really important. We go and face them next week, week after, very soon.
soon,
In
yeah,
fact, I've got it right there. Where are we at? Yeah, next week. So
mhm,
we go and face them for 4 next week. So I think it's really important for us to at least try and split that, so that just mentally, I think it's really important. Peterson on Saturday, after that marathon on Friday where we just burned the whole bullpen,
yeah,
Peterson going 7.2 on
ah,
Saturday, and is only then having to bring Edwin in, which leads me
yes,
to another highlight. Diaz
yes,
back doing Diaz things.
and not making us watch the game from behind our hands, and yeah,
He has just been back to lights out Diaz. Um, my boy Ty
yeah.
throughout the week.
I wondered when this was going to start.
I can't not mention my boy Ty because he is just consistently good. And he's doing it defensively. We know that he's a monster.
He
Defensively,
he he is a bit of a ball magnet at the moment, though.
yeah. And but he play after play after play after play.
Yeah,
But he's also, he's never going to set the world alight with his bat. But this week, he has been really good with his bat, and not only has he been good with it, he's done it at important times. last night being prime example. I mean, in our group chat, I was like, "Oh, it's time for a tie." I thought it was gone for a homer. I really thought it was gone.
Yeah.
So when he came to the plate, I said in our group chat, I was like, "Right, time for a walk-off tie home run," and he almost had it, my boy.
Yeah.
But again, he has been highlight throughout this week, and as I already mentioned, 3-game winning streak. 3-game winning. We are back to winning ways, and it's not always been pretty, but we've been getting it done. And one final thing to mention, because I can't not, our Jeff looking a bit sharper in defense.
Yes, I've noticed he's made some really good plays.
He has, and it's kind of seemingly gone under the radar a little bit, but I've noticed this week he's been looking sharper. I'm going to save any further comment on that because it might kind of come up with one of the questions, but this year he's been a bit sharper this week. So yeah, I think there's been a lot to take from this week. I think, is it 4-2 overall for the week? Must be.
Yeah.
Just one with White Sox. Yeah. So 4-2 for the week. Happy with that. Thank you very much. So yeah, really, really good week. Just punctuated in the middle with that marathon on Friday.
Yeah. To follow on from what you said, Ty has also been hustling.
Yeah, he has.
He got stolen base. The cheeky catch that he got behind Brandon Nimmo yesterday made me smile. And the catch that Jeff McNeil made, the diving sideways catch that he made yesterday, that would be a web gem.
Yeah, it was vintage Jeff.
Yes, and it's been nice, and he seems to have got a bit of a strut back from the confidence that he's getting back. Yeah, missed vintage Jeff. We need it's been noticeably missing that he's sort of been very withdrawn, I think. But last couple of days you've seen his cheeky little smile back, and like I say, a bit of strut, which is what our boys need.
Absolutely.
So, following on with some more news from the week, AJ Minter's surgery was successful. Was successful, as per his Instagram post. So we wish him all the best in his.
Oh, we've lost Tracey. Where's Tracey gone? I will continue with the news, she says, when I get our notes back up, because I am terribly unprepared. Oh, she's back. She's back. Where did we go? There we go.
Sorry, I was just technical glitch.
I was just trying to get the notes back. I was like, where are they? You're back. Hurrah.
Right. So moving on from Minter's surgery, the Mets have released right-hander Sean Reed Foley.
Yeah.
I think that was justified.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We're not. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yes. As per John Heyman, Frankie Montas says that he is going off to pitch in a rehab assignment now, likely to start for Brooklyn tomorrow. And Sean Manaea is maybe 2 weeks behind him, which is amazing news.
We need Sean back.
Yes. As amazing as our pitchers have been, and they have really stepped up to the plate.
It's going to elevate it. It's just going to elevate
it. It's just a welcome return, and it will give players a rest that need it.
Absolutely.
So Nimmo was removed from Dodgers game 1 with a stiff neck, which probably relates back to an injury from a couple of years ago when he went slamming into a wall.
Yeah, that was a worrying time.
Yeah. And Vientos was scratched before the game with abdomen soreness. Both have since returned to the lineup, so just a day-to-day issue. Brandon Waddell and Jared Young called up from AAA. Azakar and Cabrera DFA'd. Thoughts?
Yeah, I was excited to see Young come up. making his debut. It was, a really big deal for him this week. And Waddell as well. I mean, he's just there in case he's needed, which
Yes.
I think, it is nice. A little bit bad for Azakar, but again, I don't think that it was unexpected. And Cabrera, just too inconsistent. You couldn't trust him. You couldn't trust turning to him, which was the problem. And the position that we're in, we need to be able to trust who we've got there.
Absolutely. I think Azakar just was neither here nor there.
Exactly. I don't think
just a bit meh.
Yeah, exactly. I think when he came, it was very much a case of you are just plugging a gap, and we'll use you and off you go.
And I think he was used more as a pinch runner than anything else.
Didn't do anything wrong, but
no,
it's all good.
But didn't really shine either.
No, indeed.
Some good news from the minors. Jesus Baez has been named South Atlantic League Player of the Week, and Zach Thornton has been named Eastern League Pitcher of the Week. So congrats, guys. It's nice to get some positive news from the minors. I've noticed a lot more that we've been getting this positive news.
I know. It's like, oh, what universe is this? We have a functioning farm. Wow.
Even to say 6 years ago, pre-COVID, we wouldn't get news like this. Even if it happened, we wouldn't be told about it.
Well, the only one we were hearing about them was PCA.
Well, yeah, and at least it's soon suspended.
Moving
on. But yeah, it's nice that they are getting the spotlight too, and that we haven't sold the farm to achieve what we've achieved in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to Sean Manaea, he will throw live BP on Thursday, and it's first time since straining his oblique that he'll be facing batters. Amongst the hitters he will be facing is Jose S, who's also recovering from the broken bone in his leg. So again, really positive that those two are both on their way back.
100%. 100%.
We need, as amazing as our boys have been, and they have been amazing, that knowing that they're there when needed.
That's the thing. Is you can't have too many tools, and as long as we've got space for them, they're both. Well, Jose S is a tricky one. Bear in mind we've got Jesse to come back as well. But Manaea, of course, is going to elevate the bullpen. Jose S, we've not missed so much, but I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
So it's great to see him on the way back, though, regardless.
Yeah, and I have got a massive soft spot for Sean Manaea, as most Mets fans have.
Of course,
because
he's incredible.
He has got a personality as big as the sun.
Yeah,
and
he's got a connection with the fans. It's just there.
Yeah.
You can see, and he makes a point of it as well.
Yeah, standing in the dugout, singing "My Girl" along with the Citi Field faithful.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. And Drew Smith is optimistic for a post-season return. We shall see.
Forgotten man, almost.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see him back.
It absolutely would.
I don't think they'll rush it if we don't feel we need him. But once again, it comes down to how many tools can you have. So
yeah,
it'll be good. It'll be good because we are going to need plenty of people in postseason because we're going to have a long postseason.
Because we're amazing.
Of course.
Yes. So coming up, we have 2 more games against the White Sox, 3 games against the Rockies at home, with Sunday being UK friendly, unless a national broadcaster steals it again.
Don't even.
And 1 game against the Dodgers on the road. Toria, what are you thinking? What are your predictions?
I would love to say that we're going to go 6-0. Because in theory, we should sweep the Sox and the Rockies. We know that that's not how it happens. So that's not
Yeah.
going to happen. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen. So I'm going to hedge it and say 4-2. I desperately want us to win that first game against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I really want us to win that. Although, having said that, I have not worked out what the pitching matchup might be at that point.
Me
But
neither.
again, it's still almost a week away. So
yeah, anything could happen in that time.
Who knows between now and then? But let's play it safe-ish and say 4-2. But I think we have to be aiming to sweep the Sox. But last night showed us that it's not always that easy.
Yeah.
As terrible as the Rockies are,
Yeah.
and they are really bad, everyone's capable of pulling out a result. You just never know.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. I think we're going to drop one against each, the Sox and the Rockies, and we are going to beat the Dodgers.
After a day off as well.
Yeah. But I think we kind of proved our point that we are not the little brothers when we took the series from them. So circling back to that, all of that series was national broadcasters.
Yes.
And we are immensely lucky with GKR, with Howie and Keith, and obviously with our production team at SNY. We've got Damasco and Co doing Damasco and Co things, which are mind-blowing compared to a lot of what other broadcasters are putting up. We are massive Damasco stands here.
Oh yeah.
And we will fight anyone that says that anything different. There will be fists. And going on from how lucky we are to have our guys, then you have the national broadcasters who stole all three of the Dodgers games. And I watched all of the ESPN game, not live because it was blacked out in the UK, unless you've got TNT, and I currently don't. So I was miffed at that. I was going to stay up and watch
I know
it.
you were messaging me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I was so miffed.
Not happy. You were not happy.
I was not a happy bunny.
No.
So Toria, give us your thoughts on the broadcasters.
So the thing is, every time we get picked up nationally, of course, everyone complains, and some people watch and some people don't. Now, I made a point of watching these broadcasts, and I do, and sometimes I, stick my heels in and listen to Howie and Keith, and I kind of mixed and matched a little bit and listened to some and then went back and watched the videos so that I could put myself through that pain to provide some decent objective ratings, right? For across the weekend. So we had Apple on Friday, we had Fox on Saturday, and we had ESPN on Sunday. Now, as you mentioned, neither of them are GKR, so they're losing 0.5 for that because any announcement team, they ain't GKR, and they haven't got a Damasco, so they lose 0.5 for that straight off. And that's not their fault. There's nothing they can do about that. They're just not them. Sorry. So first up, we had Apple. Now, we are a little bit fortunate there because we have forever Mets fan, and also fan. I mean, he still clearly supports us. Wayne Randazzo in the booth for them. So he has got a lot of context and a lot of the historical knowledge with the team. I mean, his knowledge is great anyway. And he is partnered in the booth with Dontrell Willis. So from an announcer point of view, they're great. Dontrell's, his content is really good. Like the points that Dontrell makes are really good. They work really well together. Sometimes I find him a little bit unclear and fluffy. So I can't quite give them a whole 2.5 for that. Video wise, if you have not watched an Apple broadcast, you are missing out, because it is outstanding. It is really great quality, some great shots. The only thing that I knock it for, aside from not being Damasco, is sometimes the audio levels, because they have a lot of kind of crowd mics and stuff. Sometimes on a big play, you lose some of the play-by-play because you can't hear it, because the audio levels are a bit out of whack. Graphics and video transitions and little hype videos and stuff. Again, Apple unrivaled. So I mean, even like the theme tune, like it gets you pumped, right? So they do that stuff really, really well. The production side of it is amazing. And then I'm going to give them an extra point, because there was a play where even Wayne and Dontrell and even Lindor didn't even realize the rules of this particular play. And for those of you who saw it, it was where there was a catch in left field, and Soto and was it Nimmo? Who was it who collided? They collided with each other, and it hit one of their gloves. Was it Taylor?
I think it can't have been Nimmo and Soto, because they're opposite.
Yeah. So it must have been Taylor. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it hit the glove and bounced off, and they were arguing that it tagged too soon to bring the run home. Anyway, everyone was all a bit confused about it. The reason I'm giving them the extra point is because then they did the research and went back and found that rule and were able to kind of correct it and explain why it was there, what it was, where it come from, all that kind of stuff. So giving them an extra for that. So Apple, I'm giving 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Fox. So Fox, I'm giving 6 out of 10. Mostly because their announcers, they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay. Joe Davis, he's okay.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Say it. You go ahead, girl. He's okay. Go on, do it.
He won an Emmy for personality of the year. Yeah. My argument is, don't you have to have a personality?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Sorry.
I'm trying to be kind. He's okay. And again, his content is fine. He's well briefed. AJ Panitsky is pretty decent with him. They did have a bit of a love-in over his Emmy, which was but fair enough. Like, anyone's going to celebrate that. So
my problem is that he's just very bland.
Yeah, the delivery isn't necessarily.
Yeah, it's a bit dry.
Yeah. So I only gave them like 1.5. The other thing I didn't mention either is the sideline reporters as well. Heidi Watney for Apple is solid, really good, really clear. The video quality on Fox, again, it's just okay. And some of their graphics, some of them are cool. And again, some of their little hype bits are cool. Not to the level of Apple. And I gave them all one extra because even though they got some credit in the announcer pool for Ken Rosenthal, I think it was like 750 national broadcasts, which is really good going. And he deserves the love for that. And he is very good at it. Yeah. He does great things with his bow ties. I think that's great. So I gave them 6 out of 10. ESPN, no surprise. The least, 5.5. The announcers are terrible. The video is okay. It's probably on par with Fox. The graphics, the same. I find some of them a little bit cheesy and a little bit cheap, but they're okay. And they got an extra for the Lindors. Well, that was. That's UK. Wow. Can't hear you now. Can't hear you. Where have you gone? You've gone silent. Are you with us? Oh, we've lost Tracey again. So yeah, there was I put myself through that pain over the weekend. So Apple came out on top with 7 out of 10. Fox came out with 6 out of 10, and ESPN came out with 5.5.
Yeah, sorry about this. Technical issues. Don't you just love them? The one thing that I did love about the Fox was the interview that they did live on field with Francisco Lindor, and they had his wife Katia doing some of the questions.
That was really cute.
It was, and as soon as he heard her voice, he had the biggest, cheesiest grin on
Yeah, he's
his
like, "Hi,
face.
beautiful wife."
Yeah, and she is gorgeous.
Oh,
She's stunning. You wouldn't have guessed that she's just given birth. Um, and you could tell that they are each other's biggest cheerleaders. And because Katia has recently started a podcast, and I've not listened to it, but from what I can gather, she's very honest about motherhood and the positives and negatives that motherhood can bring, like postpartum depression. And these things need shining a light on, and how she copes with her husband being away so much. And you can tell that they're each other's biggest cheerleaders, because they were just really just smiling the whole time, and hyping each other up, and just being so positive about each other.
I'm still muted. It's very wholesome.
It
Is what I
was.
was
It was lovely. Um, so I can say that that was something really good that Fox did. And like Tori says, some of the graphics and the stats that aren't very intrusive on Apple,
exactly.
they are top notch. They're the kind of thing that if you watch baseball because you love stats, they are there. But if you watch baseball because you love baseball, you're a fan of the romance of the game, they're there, but they're not like raw.
Exactly. They're not in your face, and they're there if you want to see them, and you can see them if you want to see them, but you can easily ignore them if you don't.
Yes. Um, Following on from Lindor, it's been really positive for Lindor. Uh, MLB Star Watch for the week, Lindor was named as one of the ones to watch, with his third walk-off RBI for the year yesterday, which was a thing of beauty. And seeing Steve Gelbs get drenched
That was
was
hilarious.
hilarious.
That was hilarious.
They finally got him in his crinkled shirt.
Yeah, well, they were having to go about that shirt the whole time. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And Lindor has also been named as a favourite for the All MLB team,
Mhm.
which is a theoretical thing that MLB is doing at the moment. Also on the list are Juan Soto and Pete Alonso, and Diaz has been receiving votes for favourite relief pitcher as well. We do have some questions.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And now I've got to find them again. There we go. There they are. So I've not got my glasses on, so apologies for any errors. We will link them in the tweets as we always do. At PNYM fan 534, with Tyrone Taylor's recent hot streak, I think centre field is solid. What is another position on the team you think needs an upgrade?
Now, so this brings me back to what I was talking to earlier about Jeff. So I was asked before the season started for a hot take on the season, and my take was that perhaps Jeff won't be our starting second baseman after All-Star break. And I mean, I personally would really like to see Acuna having more time there. Um, I, that's the only, I think, until Jeff's back wakes up. And like I said, we're starting to see some of the rust come off now. So, we're okay. But actually, we've got first base locked. I want to see Beatty, believe it or not, at third base more often than not. I love seeing Acuna at second and in the game hitting, because his speed and his aggression on the base paths is just incredible to have in the game. Outfield, we're sorted. In fact, we're going to have an embarrassment of riches, especially when Winker comes back and Jose S comes back, and so maybe, and we've got Marte. Maybe I wouldn't call it an upgrade, but maybe cover in left field. But again, I wouldn't necessarily call it an upgrade. The only position I can see right now, but who's going to come in at second base? So that's the only one that I still think is a little bit dodge. What about you?
I think I agree with you. I think once Jeff gets his swag back properly,
I hope he
will. I think he will. He's been showing quite little signs of it coming back, and he's made, like we said earlier, he's made some really good plays, and with that will come confidence. And I think that confidence breeds confidence, so he will get better. Nimmo is great while he's healthy. If the neck thing continues to be an issue, then we are going to need someone to cover left field.
Yeah. I think it's more of a cover thing than.
Yeah, not a touching lots of wood here, not a everyday thing. But if there are times that his neck is giving him a bit of a niggle, and he needs a day or two, then it would be nice to have like some solid backup there.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think we're a bit iffy on at the moment.
A bench upgrade.
Yeah. Our second question is from Rob McKay, who is Rob McKay 86 on Twitter. Does it feel like the team is currently struggling unfairly to live up to the vibe of 2024 Mets?
Do you know what? I think all of the noises, and it's come up a number of times, and they are all saying, forget that. It's gone. Yeah. It's gone. That was last year. That was lightning in a bottle. It's a different team this year. It's a different vibe. So, and you have to remember, a lot of the vibes last year were from ultimately what became memes, right? So we had all of the little bits and pieces. We don't need that this year, because we're just getting it done. So last year it almost seemed like they kind of clung to them as almost it's just something to kind of get behind for that moment, to give them that bit of drive. They don't need that this year. They're just doing it. So is the vibe different? Yes, it is. I don't think it's any less fun. The guys are still clearly loving spending time together. They are enjoying it. We're getting bubblegum helmets, top helmets, and celebrations, and jumping on each other and singing for each other and throwing buckets over other people, and we're getting all that. But it almost feels like last year it almost felt like they were living up to a hype that was created. This year it's what's expected, and they know that it's expected, and they're just doing it. So I just think it's a different dynamic. So it's different. I don't think you can compare the two.
I completely agree. Last year it was on the rougher moments, like Rally Pimp, the dog, the Grimace, OMG. gave fans something to be positive about in less positive times, and something to shout about when it was positive.
Yeah.
This year, we don't need that because our boys are positive themselves. And there, yes, there have been a couple of lows, don't get me wrong, but those lows are less frequent than the highs this year. And you can tell that they are still living it up. Look at Griffin Canning and Pete Alonso doing the dozy do in the dugout. And like Mania singing along to My Girl, throwing things at each other because they're having fun.
Exactly.
And yes, last year was amazing. Last year was fun, but this year is fun for a different reason.
Yeah. It's almost like they're just kind of taking it a bit more seriously, but still having fun with it.
Absolutely.
A bit more professional, I think is the word. Not
Yeah,
necessarily serious.
but they are serious when they need to be serious, but they can be little brats
Oh yeah.
when they don't need to be as
They're
serious.
a great group and they're doing all the right things. So
Yeah, and I think Mendy is encouraging that with some of his post-game pressers as well.
oh
Like when he was, I think it was last week when he went up to speak to Senga on the mound, and he was asked afterwards by the press, what do you think? It's like, yeah, I wish I spoke Japanese,
exactly. Yeah.
and I think that's just the vibe of the team right now.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's lovely. I think everything is as it should be right now. It's great.
Absolutely agree. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think there should be any upgrades? And does this year's team, does it pass the vibe check? Let us know your thoughts on Twitter, X, whatever it's called this week, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, Insta, wherever you choose to find us on the socials. And don't forget, you can go back and listen to our previous episodes, including our off-season guest series, which did feature Wayne Randazzo and John Damasco and many others,
Correct.
who we absolutely adore as professionals in the baseball field. Anything else to add, Toria?
No, just to the last out, as always. As always.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good podcast title for today.
Yeah.
Thank you. That saves me thinking of one later. So that just leaves us to say thank you once again to all of our listeners. We love you and we know that you're there. And let's go, Mets.
Let's go Mets.